Today we head into a new state, Oklahoma, through some cool misty mountains. Despite flood warnings on TV, we're headed towards a campsite right beside a lake in Chickasaw National Recreation Area. Unless it's underwater. The rain was still coming down hard when we woke up in the hotel in Hot Springs, Arkansas on day 45. At breakfast, the TV news warned of flooding in southern and eastern Oklahoma. Something for us to keep in mind as we checked out and headed down the road to go camping in southeastern Oklahoma. Leaving Hot Springs, we crossed over the Ouachita River, through small towns and winding roads, and into Ouachita National Forest. This area has a unique history relevant to this trip. In the 1920s, it nearly became a national park, but several groups opposed the move, alternately citing the needs of the timber industry and the area's supposed lack of unique beauty that would make it truly nationally inviting. President Calvin Coolidge eventually vetoed the idea, and Ouachita, or by another proposed name, Mena National Park, was never to be. We stopped in Odin, Arkansas to mail postcards to ourselves, and I mention this because the name made us giggle. Oden is a common type of food in Japan, as I'm demonstrating here. Odin, Arkansas. Tee-hee. We also passed through Mount Ida, which calls itself the quartz crystal capital of the world, and the unincorporated community of Pine Ridge, which named itself after a 1930s radio show called Lum and Abner. There's a museum and the Jot 'em Down store in some buildings that are on the National Register of Historic Places, right on Hole in the Ground Road. In Mena, we stopped at a Walmart to buy sleeping pads for the tent and some of that famous hot springs water we heard about yesterday. Mena is where the Ouachita River begins and nearly gave its name to that doomed national park. And it's where we noticed that the trip is now at 7,000 miles. And today marks the exact halfway point of the trip, so much yet to come. Just outside Mena, we hit the Oklahoma state line. And we were getting hungry, but where do you eat lunch out here? We had to improvise, turning down an obscure side road where we saw a picnic table sign. Of course, we ended up getting lost near something called Billy Creek Campground, the type of path you're not sure you're supposed to be driving on at all. But finally we found the place, and it was actually a spectacular picnic spot deep in the forest under the cool trees. And we managed to make some interesting new friends. Back on Oklahoma Highway 63, the clouds remained ominous, but it only made us want to pull over to the side of the road more often for moody photos of the countryside. There's something captivating about the light and the colors and the shapes of things in this part of Oklahoma. This is Sardis Lake, which was created in 1980 by a nearby dam. It looks nice, but it was the subject of a federal lawsuit from the Chickasaw and Choctaw nations, which was settled in 2016. And just like that unpleasantness was cleared up, our cloudy sky suddenly cleared up in the afternoon. In the space of about 5 minutes, it went from murky gray to blue and sunny again. And with all this cheerful brightness came some illuminating examples of Oklahoma's quirky and unusual personality, scattered along this small back road. If you come to Sulphur, Oklahoma, you may want to stay at the majestic Artesian Hotel, whose guests have included President William Howard Taft. But not us. We had a campsite reservation in Chickasaw National Recreation Area. And sure, getting to the visitor center is easy in a truck, but what do you do in a little passenger car like ours? Hit the gas and hope for the best. No problem. The Travertine Nature Center was already closed, but we picked up a brochure outside and found out where the campsite is. According to the brochure, there is indeed sulfur in the water that flows through the underground rocks here. Native tribes believed the area had special healing powers, and there were eventually bathhouses here, just like back in Hot Springs. And actually, while this is a national recreation area now, it was, for most of the 20th century, actually Platte National Park. It changed in 1976. We headed down the roads towards the campsite, wondering what our neighbors might be like tonight. And in fact, the first neighbors we met on the way were completely unexpected. But when you see a sign that says Bison Viewpoint, you pull over. It's a basic rule of road trips. And yes, this was no clever name. These were real live bison in a little pen, just sitting out there on the side of the road. Amazing. Wasn't expecting that today. Oklahoma continues to impress. We arrived at Buckhorn Campground, found our spot, and set up the tent. Nice little home for the night, I think. The big draw here, of course, is down a path from the campsite, Lake of the Arbuckles, which was created by a dam in the 1960s. It's famous for its beauty, and we were here on an especially lucky day. Back at the campsite, it was dinner time. Blood sugar after the Deep Forest picnic lunch was pretty good, and I had a feeling that tonight's dinner, plus the natural surroundings, would keep my mood and blood sugar both good. After dinner, we chatted with the friendly family in the next spot. The guy gave us all kinds of suggestions for scenic highways in Colorado. As the sun set, we went back to the lake to see more of Oklahoma's colors. And when it was dark, I returned again to try some night sky photography. It had been a while. This was a Saturday night, and unfortunately not all the other campers were particularly gracious. Someone was playing really loud music, and in another tent a couple argued loudly, letting expletives fly, which greatly amused Maceo and I. Thankfully, the inconsiderate weekenders quieted down by 11 o'clock and, after copying over some dashcam footage and a last blood sugar check, 89, perfect, we drifted into sleep on our new pads in the tent in what has so far been an amazing new state for the trip. Tomorrow, Oklahoma gets even better. A minor last-minute reroute leads to some of the best scenery and most amazing creatures of the entire trip. And we cross another state line, this time back into Texas for a single night.